this is something I can use in order to, for example, chop a tree. So like it's called a hammer. I think that the way to solve that, and this is why I'm having this discussion right now, is that Jack, that we will tutorialize this. So like the first time you craft something, anything, like, or you find a recipe, it'll tell you like a description of these are the major things that make this thing the thing. So maybe on the right side, like see how it says requirements, right? There should be where it says pickaxe, a rough pickaxe used for mining. Then at the bottom, it might say, must have this in order to be to mine. Does that make sense? To be used for combat, must have this. To be used for mining, must have this, that sort of thing. Does that make sense?
It does. Just indicating which ones like kind of serve as an unlock for certain functions.
Exactly. So like pointy attachment must have pointiness more than 50%, must have sharpness more than this in order to be used as a dagger for, a halal slaughter, for example. So it'll really just come down to communicating the stats that we already have in the game, but communicating them upfront on the UI, either here or at the very least the first time when they craft something like a recipe. Recipes are guidelines that you can use. So the first time you find a recipe or this, it'll sort of tutorialize it. Does that make sense, Jack?
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's write that down then as a task, right? So tutorial for, let's say, the recipe, and then recipe info for unlocking. Those are the two things that we should put on Jack's docket. Okay. All right. What else did we need to work on? Let's see. Things that we needed to make a decision on design-wise.
It was the weapons, like what craftable weapons would they be able to do in early access?
Okay. So yeah, did we come up with that?
No, I have the menu open. Let me actually get to craft the menu. So currently right now, for some odd reason, once I pick a base, I can't, none of the attachments pop up, which is a weird thing. It gives me an error saying that the attachments are not compiled, so they won't load.
I think Abdurrafi answered that, right? He says that you have to go into the graph itself, the mutable graph, and you have to click compile. So the mutable graph.
Oh, okay. Now I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah.
Oh. Open up. Go to dev crafting mutables.
Yeah. So if you go to mutable, there should be a graph in there. Go to medium or large. You should see a graph. No, the folders. Yeah. So I believe that's the one. CO, customizable object. That's the one, I believe. So click compile. Yeah.
What tools and weapons do we have in the game right now?
So the staff, the bow, the hammer, the pickaxe, the hammer.
So it says it's finished compiling. Can we do the same for the medium and then see if it shows up? If it doesn't, then we need to call in Abdurrafi. Oh, transform. Yeah, so it should work now. Can you see if it works now?
We don't have the spearing yet.
So yeah, once this shows, then I can talk about it.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. Is it working now?
Let's see. Let's pick a base.
Yeah, it's working. Okay, perfect.
Well, the bases were always working. It's the attachments that's not popping up.
Oh, because you compiled just the base, not the attachment. So you have to go back.
Yeah, that's
okay. Sorry.
There.
Folder right there. Yeah. No. So inside each one for medium and large, there's an attachment folder.
Attachments. Okay.
There. So that's a data table actually. So why is it? Let's see. Can we call it in quickly?
Yeah. He's on break right now.
Oh, he's on break. Okay, we'll get to that then. So basically, Jack, the idea is that we need a base weapon. So we have a bow arranged. We have the medium, I believe, is the one we're starting with. and we need something like a dagger. So the spear and the javelins, those are large bases. I think we'll be able to get them in for early access, but if not, soon after early access. But right now, it would be more anything which is medium base and anything that is a small craftable, like a sword. So those would be the ones that we want to craft. Sorry, not a sword. I mean a knife. Does that sound about right, Chris?
Say that last part again.
I was saying like either medium base, so it would have like a pointy tip attachment, so could technically be a short spear,
Yeah.
or it could have like an axe attachment, or it could have like a sword attachment, or we could have like a small one like a knife. So those are so we're going with medium base, or we're going with short base. We're not going with long base just yet.
As far as what items can be customizable, like what they can actually craft?
For early access. For early access, next 5 days. Yeah, initially, yes, correct.
So then that means that the only long base thing they can create is just a staff. That's what I'm assuming.
Could you repeat that?
So the only long base that we're going to have for early access is just the staff. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. Unless we're able to put that in. But like for now, for the next few days, what we're trying to get in is a media base with 2 or 3 attachments. What are those attachments are up to us. Obviously for the medium base, we do need the pickaxe attachment and we need the axe attachment. So we'll need one more attachment. That could be sword, that could be pointy tip. I would say pointy tip is probably better so that you could use it sort of like as a spear almost. So those are the 3 that would be in my mind.
Are you on board with a difference between like a throwing javelin and a spear, or just one?
No, there is a difference. So okay. You could, and then later on that would actually, it would unlock 2 types of moves that you could make. When you have a pointy attachment, you could either do a jab, which is the spear, or you could do a javelin, which is a throw. So that's basically an ability that is unlocked rather than something that is specific to, is it a javelin? Is it a spear? Who knows what it is, right? Like you crafted whatever you wanted to, but we know that if it's pointy, then those are the 2 types of actions that you could do.
Yep.
So we agreed on these 3 attachments. So the axe, the spear, and the blade, like a sword blade. Guess you can call it.
No, it would be pickaxe, axe, and spear.
Okay.
So pickaxe is different than axe, which is one is for chopping trees and one is for mining. So we need both.
Okay. So this is for our tools then. Yeah.
Yes. And then the short one is obviously the
blade, dagger blade.
Yeah, the normal blade, and then we have like different types of bases, which are going to, so at least 2 different bases, which make it more robust.
All right. Oh my gosh. They don't want to cooperate with me.
Chris, you deleted it.
No, it's gonna come back.
It needs to come back.
Okay.
There you go.
And then short base things where.
Yeah. So I would say that there should be at least 1 technology attachment. I would say a sonic stun might be a good one.
Okay.
No, not short base. This is in medium base.
Oh, snap. Oh, Jesus, I hate loops sometimes. It can be so confusing. Okay, this way. Right.
No,
this is for.
No, this is for medium. So just.
Oh, it's for medium. Okay. All right. What else?
So I would say, yeah, I would say sonic stun or something like that. All right. And then for the short one, go ahead. Let's add the short ones. I think that should be a bit of tech, Jack. What do you think?
That should be what?
A bit of tech. D.
Yeah.
Because we want to give people an idea that you could use technology in the game, right? So like giving them access to a sonic stun attachment early on, I think is going to be cool.
I agree.
So short base is your, I guess, normal, high, very, let's say, medium sharpness blade and a very high sharpness blade.
And then what was the other one?
High sharpness blade. And then blunt poison blade. So that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
So what is the difference between the medium sharpness blade versus the high? So like,
Medium and high is just literally you need a high in order to do a halal slaughter. If it's medium, then it's going to ding your spirituality.
so like, what are like examples of like what would be like a high sharpness blade versus a medium?
Oh, it's just like visually
Okay.
a blade that is like you just need 2 or 3 different items to craft it, whereas the high one you need far more items to craft it, right?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. It's a design choice, like it's a higher sharpness.
It could be more like the ones you're getting from the traders.
Correct.
Mhm.
So if you ask the trader to make it, it's going to be high sharpness. Whereas if you just, crafted something from stones or whatever, then it's probably going to be pretty low sharpness.
Have we considered like turning a medium sharpness blade into a high sharpness blade if they sharpen them themselves?
Well, not themselves, but they'll give it to somebody to sharpen it for them. We have considered that, but again, that's
Okay.
service, and we're like for early
Yeah.
access, it's a bit too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just trying to get the minimum viable product in so that
Yeah.
people get a good sense of what systems we have. And of course, it's going to take quite a bit from our side to, change things around and do this and that sort of thing. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
Oh, we have more people. Nice. All right. Okay. So, all right. What else? What else? So, first of all, does this sound overall okay to us, Jack and Chris? Like medium, high sharpness, blunt poison blade, and then we have pickaxe, spear, axe attachment, sonic stun attachment. These sort of, to me, give a good sense of what you will craft, as well as things that uh, have some element of technology. We haven't put in any spirituality based items there yet, but I guess that's okay because we're going to be talking to the mystic, and that's a whole different set of abilities that we have to discuss. And I guess that's also where Shah Jahan comes in. So we might want to ask him. Chris, do you want to ask Shah Jahan and just say, hey, if you're free, just join our session, and then we can do that
Yeah. I'm gonna say.
so that we can then talk about spirituality. All right. So added combat, VFX, SFX, refining bone stone combat bugs, modular weapon system, polished hunting and loot. I'm still trying to see what are some of the other things that we needed to discuss, like make decisions on. What else did we have to make a decision on? So one was talked about that. One was the actual weapon design. What else?
We mentioned talking about like the journal entries and then like the different systems and how they're going to exist in the game for early access. So like where certain things going to be placed at, things like that.
Right. It's not just about what things are placed at, but also things of like what are the things that Jack needs to put in information on. So let's
Mm-hmm.
start creating a list of that, right? So let's create some journal entries. Okay, there it is. So we need a journal entry for the bandits themselves, the kind. So we can say that there's a ranged bandit, there's a this, and also a bit of their lore. So these are people that you don't really want to kill. You want to because they are humans. And Jack, just like you said, they've turned into bandits by necessity, right? And so that's why we ideally we find a sonic repulsor, and ideally we don't want to kill them, but we want to do things like more stunning. So I guess that means our staff also needs to have the option of stun. So we'll have to look at that so that we don't necessarily have to kill them. Mhm. Go ahead.
I think that, and we can, it's definitely not something to implement now, but I kind of think that implementing something in the future where if somebody takes enough damage, they're gonna like surrender or something. I think
Yeah.
also like like it means that there's a way out. Like you're not just locked into like escape or kill once a conflict starts. And I think that's more realistic for the people that like, oh, I'm getting beaten. I wouldn't just fight to the death. I'd try to like stop. But then also it gives more of like a
Yeah.
impact them choosing to kill, because it's not just like, well, I was being attacked, I had to kill them. It's like they stopped. They fully gave
Yeah.
up, stopped, and then you still went ahead and got them anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Let's put that in. I don't think that should be too hard to put in, but obviously I don't want to put it in for early access, but let's put that in right after early access. It's a great idea. I think that we should then, in that case, have like a proper reward mechanic, right? Like if they surrender and you leave them, then what is the reward? Well, spirituality. But then if you kill them, what's the reward, right? Like because otherwise, okay, you're never going to kill them, but there has to be some reason, like, oh, I have to kill them, right? And
Mhm.
that I think is that once in a while, there's a chance that the guy is going to turn around and attack you again, even though you forgave him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to become an enemy again. So if your health is really low, you might not want to take the risk. So there's a whole bunch of, okay, I don't know, I'm gonna let him go, but this dude's probably gonna come back and bite me in the ass. So those are sort of things that it gives more depth to the game. So I would say, Jack, if you could write that down, I think that's important. And I would say that put it on a reminder, so that when we come back to this discussion after early access, I want you to flesh this out like early as possible.
Gotcha.
Okay. So in terms of entries that we need to do, we need to explain who the bandits are, the types there are, and that means the type of fighting that they can do and stuff. But also we want to explain a bit of the what is it called? The lore. So they're two separate things. One is like, there's this type of, there's a ranged bandit, there's a this bandit, that sort of thing. And then the other one is that discussion about their lore. Why did they become who they became? So I think that's important. So in C, Chris, I wouldn't just say they need some sort of backstory, but I would say backstory plus explanation of gameplay related to them, right? So both of them. So like, how would you deal with these people? And then we would need, oh yeah. And so for stone, the entry could be like explaining just the different kind of stones that we have in the region. Again, based on realistically, like there's a lot of line here, there's a lot of this, and that could tie into some of the stats and some of the things that we craft. And then different types of fiber that we have, like munja and so on. And then different types of trees that we have. So kikar this is an important one. So what we want to do is, especially for the trees, we want to specifically mention at some point, like when you're about to chop a tree the first time, right? So let's say chopping tree first time, it will specifically say that, when you're chopping a tree, if that tree is near a house and provides shade, then, you'll get dinged in terms of spirituality. In brackets, we could say not implemented yet or whatever, just so that they know. But that is something that we will implement. So, Chris, I want you to remember this as a feature. So please put it in the backlog. We have to implement this at some stage right after early access.
Okay.
Yeah, write that down in your notes. So when I say, hey, what are the things that we still have to implement, then we can have a look at that. Okay, all right. So for the different trees like Kika, again, there's a lot of information, Chris, that we could find. And then what else do we want? For the bazaar. Oh yeah. So a bit of, you first get to the bazaar, gives you a bit of a background on the bazaar, and a bit of lore about the world and the jinn when you start as well. So bazaar, and then also the jinn, and then also the mystic. So quite a bit of lore to be written, quite a bit of stuff to be written down. I think that's a good start.
Yeah. I think
the journal entries don't, because we're still not sure if the House of Wisdom is going to make it in. It's mostly complete, but I don't want to introduce it. The idea is that we will introduce it like a week or two after early access. So first it is obviously because we're providing updates to the people. and I'm hesitant to add something that people can't get to for whatever reason. So that's why the journal entry is not there yet. Does that make sense, Rihanna?
Yeah.
That's the bazaar. That's you know what, that's a great idea, Jack. You know, the entry to the House of Wisdom, when you go
Yeah.
there, you basically read something, and yes, that gives you a journal entry into, oh sorry, not the entry to the House of Wisdom, I mean the entry to the bazaar. And it sort of mentions, and maybe it adds two things. It adds the bazaar, but it also says traders buy stuff, or used to buy stuff from the House of Wisdom, but now it is surrounded by Jinn. Just sort of give a hint of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rihanna, I like that. I think that makes sense. All right, thank you, Rafi, for joining us. Could you tell us, Chris? Could you run the thing and see, so we can see what's going on and explain what's the problem is?
Yeah. So I get here and I click the bait. I try to click on the attachments. Nothing pops up. The first time you do it, it gives you the error that the parts cannot load because they haven't been compiled.
Yeah, I would try to compile them first, and if
Yeah,
the issue
where can you
persists,
show
I
them
will
where
look
to go
into it.
compile?
Yeah, so in the graphs that you have open, CEO underscore milli large milli medium, the mutable plugin itself is in beta, so it doesn't auto hook into the compile pipeline. So you have to manually compile them once. So the
Well,
compile button is on the top left.
he did compile. Go ahead and compile again, and let's see. I think something
Okay,
is
so he did
missing.
compile.
Yeah, he did compile.
Okay, I'll have to look into it. It
Yeah, I
should
think
be appearing.
it's the attachments that are not compiled for some reason, even though they're data tables.
It was working on my end. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, but remember, this is in the actual project, so I think this is a Mirza question. Whoever did the
Yeah,
integration, Rafi, did you do it or did Mirza do it?
Mirza did it. I don't.
Okay. I will be giving you access to prototype today. So I've, sorry, just been busy with these meetings, but let me give you access. That way you can actually go into the code and fix it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Rafi. Feel free to stay here or jump off if you want to, but we'll look at that later.
All right.
But meanwhile, Rafi, can you actually, while you're here, Chris, can you show him the list of the things that we decided on? So
Yeah.
those are the kind of weapons that we
Oh, the wrong
decided.
things. There we go.
Yeah, so let's look at that. There you go. So for short base, we want three different things. We want a medium sharpness blade, high sharpness blade, blunt poison blade. Just find the kind of blades that make them look visually different for now. And then medium base with attachments will be the pickaxe one, spear one, an axe one, and a sonic stun. I think the sonic stun is the only one that we don't have yet. So
Okay.
maybe find some references. Sorry, what was that, Rafi?
As I was saying, okay. Also, can I get a link to this? I don't have a link to this.
Just copy paste this for now. I will be giving links. I'm just super busy with getting all the
All right.
permissions and everything sorted. This is the challenge I have right now.
I'm putting core team.
Perfect. Okay. All right.
Can I
Thank you.
suggest a name for the medium sharpness and the high sharpness?
What was that?
Could I suggest a name?
Sure.
Like, could we just go with like rock and the other one's metal? Because I think it would make sense that you find some that are like, rocks are around, so people could sharpen them into spearheads or whatever. So that makes sense. But then when you need like a sharper one, the one made out of metal would be better. And then later down the line, if we implement an even better one, then it would be sharpened metal.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's more specifically what it's called in game, but the attribute is still sharpness, right?
Yeah,
So
no, 100%. I that's why I was like saying like just I'm tossing out essentially names for them.
yeah. So what what I'm saying is this is meant to be, the recipe is just saying what attributes they need, but what we will
Oh,
have
true.
is the name. Yes.
Yep.
So you
Yeah, you're right.
in the world you'll be able to find one medium sharpness blade, whatever it's called, one high sharpness blade, but the attribute has to be this. And the reason we
Yep.
can't keep it that way is because you don't want to say find a metal XYZ, because they might find titanium or something else that's like even
No,
sharper.
100%. No, you're right. Brain farted on the whole type of sharpness and everything.
No worries, makes sense. Okay. All right, and of course that's what you will be doing anyway. So once Abdurrafi gives us the actual things, you will go in and you'll give it the right name. So that's something that you will go ahead and do. Okay, so Abdurrafi, now you should have that list. Can you confirm you got the list, Rafi?
Yep, I got it.
All right, perfect. Okay, Chris, let's continue.
Yeah.
And Abdurrafi, if you want, you can jump off or you can stay. But just wanted to say that that's all we needed for you. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Chris.
Some
So different trees, different fiber, Bazaar, House of Wisdom coming soon. It was, Bazaar, we mentioned, yes. Bandits, yes. A bit of, yeah, thank you, that one. And then Mystic, the Mystic himself. And then also the, just an introduction to Mystic then explains like the introduction to Jinn. We mentioned that up there, Jinn, Mystic, the world. Oh, you put that all under Bazaar. No. So that's not under Bazaar. Jinn and Mystic, and those are separate. So, yeah. So, and then when the Mystic tell you a bit about the Jinn, then they add journal entries to your journal about Jinn and their background in man versus Jinn and sort of stuff like that. Okay. So repair, barrow, repair, common house, repair, skilled villager. Hey, Shah, how are you doing?
I was curious. What's the Horseman House?
Sorry, what was that? Jack?
so you asked about the Horseman House.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so essentially, let me show you. So I created some kind of like some stories inside the world to kind of give the player different things to explore while they're going through the Missouri region. And so we have that one house that's like on that path that's supposed to technically lead to the Mystic, but essentially on the way there, there's like, dung and everything on the ground that kind of shows you that there was a horse that was here, and that's supposed to initially give you a an idea that you'll be able to like fast travel or at least go across different regions by horse. Obviously, you wouldn't find it in the Missouri region, but maybe like in the bazaar or something like that. They're selling horses that you can possibly buy. So like this path right here.
Gotcha.
It's like as you're going down,
it would be
So the
like
idea-
fast travel to be implemented down the line, right?
The idea is if you go forward, Chris, there's a house, right? So what we want to show is that there used to be a guy who owned horses here, but if you look at the path itself, you see that right now it's blocked, right? If you go back, yeah, you see that it's blocked, right? We put debris there. So this is when you repair this house, it'll fix this path. And then there's a horse that basically is able to follow this path and go all the way to the bazaar by horse. And it connects, this horse route basically connects the different routes between the different regions.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, so it plays a cinematic, but you can script it, so it's essentially fast travel.
Yeah.
And again, if Jinn come and break a house or something, your fast travel is disrupted, so you have to go back and fix it, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. So right now we want to, just like what Rihanna was saying, plant the seeds of this. So while they're picking these up, we can be very clear and say this is coming, but we can explain that. So there's the lower part and there's the gameplay part, right? So the lower is just saying, oh, there used to be a guy, blah, blah, blah. And then there's gameplay, a bit stuff, explanation that pops up. And that's saying that, repairing is an important mechanic. This is the trade routes that connect the different regions. You can use this as fast travel. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's a tutorial in a sense. And it can say right there, like this is not implemented yet, but as regions become online, you will be able to, as long as the points, the portals in a sense, which is these houses, are repaired, we'll be able to connect from A to B to B to C and so on.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I
All
like
right.
this.
So
This also just really, I think, speaks to like the whole aspect that like we kind of developed after our last pivot of like almost turning into like a third person
yeah.
like civilization builder. Like I really like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that pivot I think was necessary. It makes it very different from other games, but I think the challenge right now is a lot of this is not obvious at all. Like even you didn't know about this, right? So we need to start. This week is all about putting those tidbits to give people an idea of the richness of the game. Like, okay, so you go in, oh, this is what's going to happen. Oh, this is what I'll be able to do. So that I think is very, very necessary even in early access to give people a sense for the depth that the game actually provides. And it does. Like all of these things are like a good 95% of the game is in there in terms of systems, in terms of code. We're just now stringing together these things. We have the Lego pieces. Now we have to just turn it into something. Anyhow, all right, go ahead. What else? Let's go back to the list. So it's not really a horseman. It's, I would say, trader. So carriage. It's a carriage, right? So it's a trader. Yeah,
The
stable.
stable.
Yeah, stable. He's a trader basically, or not even a trader. What's the word? Like we have a tangewala, right? That's the actual word. So maybe just write that. So Tanga, Tanga house. Yeah. So if you write Tanga in online, you'll find it. It's basically a carriage with a horse, which is a Pakistani Tanga horse. That's
Okay.
okay. Yeah, horse Tanga. There you go. So a cart. There you go. Tanga cart. This is what a Tanga looks like, right? So this is Tanga. Yeah. So you see the Wikipedia entry.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
So
or
we have
something.
this, and really, it's just literally a carriage. It's meant to take you from one place to the other. And the difference between a tanga and a carriage is that it has two wheels rather than four. That's the main difference.
Got you.
Yeah. So if you look at
Seems
the
more like
tanga,
a
you see
carriage.
all of them have two wheels, right? So that's we, we do have it. We have it here and there, but we should. With the original idea was to put it in that broken house. That was what it was made for. It is. If you look at the trailer, currently there's a cinematic which has it. I think you've seen it, right? Where there's a horse. So that part at the back is going to be there, and it's just going to be lying there. The only reason we haven't put it in there is right now we have the polished version rather than the broken down version. So it looks very pristine. So we'll have to, make it a bit more broken down and put it there. And that cinematic was sort of to give people a flavor of that's what's going to happen. You go there, and you're sort of able to go through the villages and go through these different places to different regions and sort of fast travel.
Very
All right.
random aside, but like if you progress on the technology path, maybe we could have like an alternative, like one of those things in Europe, like a cable car sort of.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We should put that in. So put that in your document. The loop is there. We need all of these ideas. Yeah, like as I said, there's drones, there's cable cars, there's a lot of other sort of ideas that we can throw in terms of what technology. As I said, we have the code there now. It's more of an assets and animations thing, and trying to put these things in. But yeah, I think we're on the right track.
Have you guys ever seen Around the World in 80 Days?
Oh, the Jackie Chan one?
Yeah, I was gonna say at the end of that they make like a slingshot like glider plane. That would be fun to make with a tech thing. You just get a little cinematic launching you across the map.
Fine. Nice. All right, so let's go back. And then what else? Oh, right. So the other thing is if you go back to the Unreal, and you go to Chris to one of the homes. Yeah, let's go to one of the homes. Yeah. So the home that is more polished, let's go there. That is the one that we want to explain a bit more, like what they're looking at. And feel free, like what is a charpai, what is a tanur, like all of these little things, just like little backgrounds, what they're used for, what this is like, maybe a little screenshot. So again, if people are interested, they'll read it. If they're not, they're not. But like for me, at least, I find these things very fascinating. When I'm playing a game and it's about, like, let's say Japanese culture, or it's about something else like samurais or whatever, and they give me a bit of tidbits like, oh, this is what they used to do in the past. It's really interesting to me. Okay, so let's add that too. Again, you I think mentioned the manga and all of those things somewhere up there. I think we need to add things like what is it called? Yeah, I know, Rihanna. Trucks are a big thing. They're they're in that weird spot where they're not old enough and they're not futuristic enough for me not to know what to do with them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know, but interestingly, this truck art actually came out from my region. This was from the Pathans were the ones who actually did it. So I think that's super interesting to me. Obviously, they feel right at home in the Inzari region. So I remember in my childhood, like traveling in buses and trucks and these things like that with that art. Anyway, but going back, I was saying that what was I saying? Oh, right. The tanur. So yeah, an explanation of what a tanur is, and then an explanation of what is it we talked about. There's a couple of other things, like especially that area where the cow is. There's a certain like area, and we can mention that. But I think for now, tanur is the big one that came out. Rane, Sapiak, I think that's all mentioned. Okay. All right, so I think there's enough to go on in terms of lore and stuff. Okay, now let's move on to the other point of discussion. What else did we want to discuss?
I think.
So I want to really talk about the spiritual aspects. So we already talked about technology, Shah Jahan. So initially we're seeing like a sonic stun gun or attachment. And I think that gives people an idea like, oh, there's going to be technology later on in the game. What about the spiritual aspect? We want to be able to show some people some of the spiritual aspect of the game earlier. We did talk about, that whole spiritual graph thing, but what is something that is tangible, visible, and ability that they get right away in the first, when you make the mistake or initially? My guess was that how the foggy region or the misty region, which is full of jinn, but you don't see anything.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
guess is that the first you get some insight, and you're just able to see shadows of the jinn actually now,
Yeah,
rather
I
than.
agree.
And I think that would potentially be like, okay, and you can go there and you can click the focus button or something, and you can see now the actual jinn a bit, but obviously you can't quite see them too much in detail, but it should give you like, oh, there's insight, and you're able to see jinn like walking around. Maybe even neutral jinn, right? So maybe there's a lot of neutral jinn walking around you, but you don't interact with them. You never know about them. But when you get insight, you're like, oh. And again, for you, Jack, that might actually be a journal entry that we should prioritize. Like, talk about jinn and how they could be neutral, good, or they could be bad because they have will. And so, how do we? And this is another question: how do we actually show the neutral jinn, Chris and Jack and Shah? Like, how do we differentiate them visually from the non-neutral one, other than the fact that the bad ones are just going to come straight at you and smack
We
you?
could, not to be like a damn exceptionalist, but like we could just have them look different, like have them look almost more human if they're like neutral or good.
That's fair. That's fair. But from a UI perspective, like, do they not have a health bar? Does their health bar look different? Like, what was it? No, I don't want them to wear stick. No,
I mean,
no, thank you.
for one, if the evil jinn have like a bit of a almost like red glow to them, like the model we saw today, maybe the neutral jinn could have a different color glow to them.
Yeah.
So I like the health bar. Maybe the health bar could just be a different color, like if there's an ally, the health bar color, like whatever that is.
Yeah, let's come up with a color scheme. Just off the top of my head, red, bad, green, good, purple, neutral. That's what I'm thinking. But if we have any other ideas, fine. But I think if we come up with that sort of, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I agree with that. I think maybe blue instead of purple, unless we're using blue for something else.
We are for our thirst
Okay.
meter.
Oh, purple's great then.
Yeah, blue is more like cool, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if we're using it for thirst also, like,
Yeah, I would rather not use blue there. Purple, I think, is just like a completely random different color. So I
True.
think purple sounds neutral enough. So okay, so for neutral, you mean? Because there are neutral as well, right? So remember, there's good gin, there's bad gin, and neutral. So there might actually, once in a rare case, be a green gin that may even help you at some point. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's exactly it. Correct. So that's one. But the other thing is that well, so from a more practical perspective, green is you can interact with it. Purple is there's nothing you can do. They just walk around. They're just set dressing. Does that make sense?
The issue I'm kind of seeing with that is that I think players might perceive it as it being like a shield, because like in most games, like if it's red, that's like the final health bar. But like if you have like a blue or like purple or some other color, they're like, okay, this might be some sort of like shield layer. I need to then deplete that, and then the red health bar would then pop up, and then I can deplete and fully kill them essentially.
but would their behavior not like, obviate that? Like if they're not attacking you, if they're like skirting around you, like, would you not think, okay, maybe this is just something else?
Yeah.
So,
So so I didn't mean it would be just the health bar, right? I meant the overall color scheme. So the glow plus this, all of that is one color scheme. So let's say all of that reddish combined,
We could
or the aggressive one, all of that green everywhere. And I don't think all of them will have all the attributes. Like for example, the neutral one doesn't have or shouldn't have a health bar. Like it doesn't make sense for it to have one. I'm kind of going with Abdurrahman said, might as well just make them gray, like grayish, sort of misty, sort of like, oh, there's a being there. I don't know what it is. Okay, cool. You don't have health bar. You're not bothering me. I'm not being bothered by you. Fine, thank you. I mean, and then again, Jack, this goes back to what you're doing. Like, it's part of that lore, right? It'll say, okay, these are entities. If they're gray, they're neutral. They don't bother you. Don't bother them. That sort of thing. And then if it's red, you better watch out. That sort of thing.
so my
And
concern is like, what if they attack a good gen or a neutral gen? Then what? Because players are gonna attack anything they see in sight. They're gonna try to.
they cannot. So remember, in the beginning, they can't really attack Jin at all. Remember, like right
Yeah,
now they can't do. And the
but also like
future,
further on down.
I think that's too far ahead to think about right now, because that's
Mm,
like much further about when you can actually attack a Jin, especially a neutral one. But I think like what's probably going to happen is very similar to the animals. Like you go there and they run away from you if you have a weapon that they can be attacked
mm,
by, but you can't really kill them. And here's another thought. Very similar to animals. If you kill a neutral Jin, your spirituality goes down. Simple as that.
mm.
Like, it's just like animals, right? Like, why are you killing an animal that's not really bothering you and you're not going to utilize it for anything? Like, why are you doing that? Like, I think there's a whole bunch of other things we
You
can do. But
we
right
could we
now,
could even get creative with like if you attack like a neutral Jin, then maybe even like good Jin will attack you. Like if they're in the
there's
vicinity.
possibilities. But what I'm saying in short right now for early access, it is not something that we have really made a design on. And I don't think we should try to make a design decision right now on that. I think right now the main thing is we have Jin, you can fight them. They're red. They're Jin, you cannot fight. They're gray. That's all for now, right? Um, I mean,
Well, they
I-
can't even
I-
get close to doing it right
Go
now.
ahead.
That's kind of. Well, I was just restating what you said before. They can't even fight them right now, so there is no like we can't represent it yet. But
That was my
I
whole
agree
point.
that
Like,
But
I'm saying, like right now, you don't even have a weapon that affects them because you literally don't have the spirituality required. The only spiritual skill that we're discussing that you get is to see them or not. So my point is like making that decision so early, it's impossible because oh, right. If they were able to interact and then we decided like what are they going to do, that would be then we would have to actually make a decision. But right now they're not going to get anything powerful enough to hurt them anyway. So like I
well,
and that's what I'm saying. Like the journal entry is what sets up the expectations, right? Like it says in brackets, like to be implemented later, or we're still thinking about this. Because remember, this is early access game. And this is our way to sort of engage them too, right? So if they have ideas or this, we could always even in the journal entry put like a little link to our Discord channel and say, you know, what do you think? And you know, engage with us. In fact, that's a nice little Easter egg. But I personally am hesitant to make a decision so early on because there are a lot of things that I wanted, but then, you know, they fell to the wayside because we have other priorities. And again, in terms of expectations, it's better to say these are neutral for now. You don't have the weapons to interact with them. And you know, that might change later. That's it. Like,
so
really,
that's even for the short path to the bazaar because that's supposed to be infested with jinn. What are the players supposed to do about that? They're just supposed to parkour around them, and okay,
correct. Right now, they're not going to be able to fight those jinn. Yes.
okay.
Yeah, right now, because for early access in the next 7 days, I do not want that yet.
Yeah.
Yes, we have the gin. Yes, it's changing form. Yes, it's doing all of that. But remember, that one is very different anyway. That one is
Yeah.
a gin that changes form, and the way that you fight it is through physical tools. You don't fight it through spiritual tools. So when he's in gin form, your weapon is not really going to do anything to it, right?
Yeah.
And then when he's in animal form, that's where your weapon actually makes a difference. So again, that doesn't change how you interact with this with the neutral entities because they're always in spiritual form. So
Hmm.
you're not really going to be. No, no, no. But it's very similar to how we have it right now, right? Like in right now, you have jinn wolves chasing you, and people are totally okay with that. You have a crab, which is a jinn, and people are totally they understand they can't kill it. They're just going to run. And so so it's very similar to the tutorial. Now it's a tutorial to the different region, and it's sort of structured like that, right? So now you're again sort of doing the same thing, right? But you're right that a lot of these things I'm relying on Jack to make it very obvious. So in that door that you're entering, it'll say like, okay, this area is infested with jinn. Some of the jinn presence has removed, but there's still going to be some left. So I'd better parkour my way around it to get to the bazaar in safety, things like that. And I think that works. No? Yeah, and this is an ongoing process. Like we are going to be writing text prompts. So Rihanna, like you might need to remind us like a couple of times, right? So like maybe we didn't get to it or we forgot it or whatever. And then 3 days later, like, okay, I played the game, I got here, but as a player, I didn't know James were gonna do that. Like what's going on? So and it's gonna be iterative. We're gonna keep adding stuff like here and there. So that's gonna work. All right. So okay, good discussion. Good discussion. What else? Have we not decided yet that we need to decide?
Entries.
Bug. I think we, oh, right. We were talking about spirituality. So I think the spirituality we agreed on is initially the only spirituality game, you make the mistake and you become, what is it called? A believer? Is that what we said, Shah? So you go from agnostic to believer. Is that the first, I think the first
Yes.
thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you become a believer, then you're able to actually at least see the world like, whoa, there's all these jinns walking around.
Yeah.
So that means we need some art assets for those neutral gems. So let's put that in. That's another one of those requirements things. And by the way, Rihanna, once we put it in, I think a lot of the visuals also tell you a lot, right? So if they're gray looking and sort of like non-interactive, people will kind of be able to tell like, oh, okay. And maybe even the mystic says it, right? Like, remember, there are a lot of jinn who are not necessarily bad. Don't go killing every jinn that you see. That sort of thing, right? Don't go thinking every jinn is an enemy. They're not, that sort of thing. Okay. Okay. I think we've discussed most stuff. Yep. Anything else?
Nothing I can think of, honestly.
Okay. So, Chris, let's jump back into the world for a quick second. And what I want to do is I would like you to start laying out like the progression and the story. Like, okay, this part. So let's go to the beginning. Let's forget about the bazaar region for now. So in this region, what we want to do is we want to start with like, okay, here, here. This is going to be the story. This is what you're going to interact. So let's start adding actual quests and let's start adding actual journal entries. So the entries themselves, of course, will be written by Jack, but you can go ahead and start putting in placeholders there. And then you can say, Jack, please, provide me with this. And so that we know what's going to happen when we go from one place to the other. Make
Okay.
sense? So it'll be journal entries, it'll be lore entries, and I think it'll be tutorial entries. I believe we have 3 different types, right?
So
Yep.
yeah, so are all the entries now going in that journal? So that includes like, what about the dialogue boxes that we have down?
No.
The main dialogue, which he just says 1 or 2 things to himself, that's fine the way it is. Journal entries are more like, when you stop and it opens and it's like, here's a major moment when you need to understand something. So like meeting the mystic, seeing the house for fast travel. Anytime there's a new mechanic, anytime there's new saving, so which means repairing the barrel. Anytime there's something that they need to learn about in terms of the actual game, other than some small thing like press this to jump over or whatever, I think that's fine.
Okay.
So
I can do that.
one of the biggest things everybody's absolutely annoyed by, unfortunately me too, is the rope. It's too slow. Any ideas?
Of like what to replace it with?
Either to replace it, make it look better, make it feel better. I know Shah
No, I
Jahan
think
has-
we'll make it-
I mean, I
Sorry.
think. Go ahead, Jack.
What if you can jump and re-grab it? Then you can get across it much quicker.
I was gonna say kind of the same thing. Like maybe this could be where we introduce the back hopping, where like maybe there's like different like, for example, hold on, let me turn on my camera. Maybe so there's like maybe different things that he can like grab on to turn and then back hop to grab on and then basically kind of maneuvering around to get here.
I love that idea. So instead of the rope starting from here, it's pretty much in the middle, right? And
Yeah.
and then that way it can look less, how do I put it? It can look less manufactured, where we
Yeah.
have this area, and we could have like a little rock that he's standing on or boulder, and then he jumps onto a rope, and then he sort of back hops, and then yeah, that could work. That could work.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's think about that. Yeah, so much shorter ropes rather than one large one, and a couple of back hops, and he learns back hop here too. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's write it down. Okay, I like that. And okay,
Especially
I'm
'cause I
wondering
think
if I should do
otherwise we
that.
don't see that kind of
Right.
like.
Go ahead, Jack.
I was just saying, otherwise, I don't think we really see that kind of like mantling or that kind of like climbing ability that he has
Yeah.
in too much of this region.
Yeah, I agree. So
Because he can do like the direct up to one ledge or whatever, but we've had that for a while. Like now we have way more like complicated stuff stuff he can do. So
Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree.
showing that off.
Yeah, I like that idea. Okay, so Chris, do you want to do that? Do you want me to do it? How do you want to do this?
Let me do it.
Okay, so why don't we prioritize putting in the tutorials on that first, all
Yeah.
the blueprints for that, and that
Mhm.
way, and yeah, discuss it with me, and then that way we can tell Jack exactly what he's going to be putting in and where,
Yeah.
and then we can come and try to fix this.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, all of this sounds good to me. Shahjahan, when can we expect to see that tree from you? The spiritual tree.
Today, I would say maybe around 4 o'clock.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's meet back again at 4 then. All right, so thank you so much, everyone, especially for the guests watching too. Thank you. Hopefully this was fun for everybody. Please do give us feedback. I know that you're, just listening in, but this is one of the things we want to do to give the audience or the actual people who are going to be playing the game interested in the game to see what goes on when we actually design the game, what kind of decisions we have to make, why we make decisions when we make them, and how something from a player's perspective, which sounds like really simple, why didn't they do this? They're like 10 people, they're 5 people, why? It's because of all of these things. If we change this thing, it might change that one, and that needs this and that needs this. So a bit of insight into that. But it's also an opportunity more than that. It's mainly an opportunity for you guys to give us feedback in the chat so that when we go into early access and then also when we go into final release, we have been listening to you guys continuously and getting some feedback. All right, so for the rest of the team, we will meet back again in a couple of hours. But for those of us joining us here in the Discord, thank you so much. And everybody else, thank you so much. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yes.